Hey everyone, and welcome back to AP World History Review. Today, we're diving deep into Unit 6, Topic 4, Global Economic Development from 1750 to 1900. This is a huge topic, so grab your notebooks and let's get started. We're going to explore how the Industrial Revolution didn't just change Europe and the US, but completely reshape the global economy. So, what's the big idea here? The Industrial Revolution created a massive demand for raw materials and new markets to sell finished goods. This led industrialized nations to establish economic dominance over other parts of the world. Think of it like this. Factories in Britain needed cotton for textiles, rubber for tires, and palm oil for machinery. Where did they get it? From colonies and spheres of influence in Asia, Africa, and Latin America? Let's start with the technology that made this all possible. The steam engine, the telegraph, and steamships weren't just cool inventions, they were game changers. Steamships, for example, could travel up rivers like the Congo or the Amazon, opening up the interior of continents to trade and conquest in ways that were impossible before. The telegraph cut communication time from weeks to mere minutes, allowing colonial administrators and business owners to manage their global empires with incredible efficiency. It was a true revolution in connectivity. Now, let's talk about the raw materials. This period is sometimes called the Second Industrial Revolution, and it was hungry for resources. The demand for rubber, for instance, exploded with the invention of the automobile. This led to horrific conditions in places like the Congo Free State, where local populations were forced into brutal labor to extract rubber for European companies. Similarly, the demand for cotton to feed British textile mills led to the expansion of cotton cultivation in Egypt and India, often at the expense of food crops. This brings us to a key concept: economic imperialism. This isn't just about political control, it's about one country having significant economic power over another. A classic example is the relationship between Britain and Latin American countries like Argentina. Britain invested heavily in building railroads and port facilities in Argentina, not out of kindness, but to make it easier and cheaper to export Argentine beef, wool, and wheat back to Britain. While Argentina's economy grew, it also became heavily dependent on a single trading partner, making it vulnerable to shifts in the British market. This pattern was repeated all over the globe. Let's look at another example: China. After the Opium Wars, Western powers forced China to sign a series of unequal treaties. These treaties opened up Chinese ports to foreign trade, set low tariffs on imported goods, and created spheres of influence where specific European nations had exclusive trading rights. This effectively crippled China's ability to protect its own industries and control its economy. The result was a massive influx of foreign goods that undermined local producers. While China primarily exported raw materials like silk and tea, this new global economic order created a distinct division of labor. Industrialized nations in Western Europe, the US, and Japan specialized in manufacturing finished goods. Meanwhile, regions in Africa, Asia, and Latin America became specialized in extracting natural resources and producing cash crops. This is a crucial point. These economies weren't diversified. They were often monocultures, meaning they relied on exporting just one or two commodities, like bananas in Central America or cocoa in West Africa. This made them incredibly vulnerable. If the global price of coffee crashed, the entire economy of a country like Brazil could be thrown into chaos. Let's also consider the financial side of things. London became the financial capital of the world. British banks and investors funded massive infrastructure projects globally like railroads, bridges, and telegraph lines. A great example is the Suez Canal in Egypt. While it was a marvel of engineering that drastically cut travel time between Europe and Asia, it also put Egypt into massive debt, which Britain used as a pretext to establish political control over the country. Capital was a tool of empire just as much as guns were. We also see the rise of transnational businesses. The United Fruit Company, an American corporation, is a prime example. It dominated the banana trade in Central America and the Caribbean, owning vast tracts of land, controlling railroads and ports, and wielding immense political influence over the governments of these banana republics. Another one is the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, or HSBC, which was founded by the British to finance trade in East Asia, particularly the profitable opium trade. These companies operated on a global scale, often with more power than the local governments in the places they operated. So, how did citizens in these colonized regions respond? It varied. Some elites collaborated with the imperial powers, benefiting from the new economic arrangements, but for the vast majority, this system meant exploitation. It meant being forced off their land, working for low wages in dangerous conditions in mines or on plantations, and seeing their traditional economies destroyed. This exploitation often led to resistance, which we cover in other topics. But but it's important to remember the human cost of this global economic transformation. To wrap up, the period from 1750 to 1900 saw the creation of a truly interconnected global economy, but it was a deeply unequal one. The technological and industrial power of a few nations allowed them to create a system that benefited them at the expense of others. They extracted raw materials, created dependent economies, and used finance and technology to solidify their control. Understanding this framework of economic imperialism is absolutely essential for your AP World exam, as it sets the stage for many of the global conflicts and developments of the 20th century. Make sure to review your notes, look at the specific examples we discussed, and think about the cause and effect relationships. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more AP World reviews, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions.